Hello, my name is Martin Cowen, and I am the author of this book, Fabian Libertarianism, 100 Years to Freedom. I'm also a lawyer, and the purpose of this video is to talk to libertarian candidates, mostly in Georgia, but it applies all across the United States, about one simple rule: follow the law. Learn and follow the law as concerns everything, of course, but in particular, election politics. Now, what I'd like to do is talk about 5 different examples of laws which affect libertarian politics in Georgia and all across the country. And the reason I want to do this is because I want you to become hypersensitive to the issue of following the law. As a lawyer, I always follow the law. As a lawyer, I always recommend to my clients that they follow the law. If my clients happen to be libertarian candidates or other types of candidates, I recommend that they follow the law. And this is particularly important for libertarian candidates because they are out of the mainstream and they would be particularly targeted for not following the law. Let me give you 5 different examples of following the law. If you want to be a candidate for office, typically you have to file a lot of paperwork. And one of those pieces of paperwork is called a declaration of candidacy. And it's very important that you follow that rule. Simple. Second, another category of law which you as a candidate must comply with, that's financial reporting. When you receive money, or intend to receive money, you have to file regular reports indicating the money that you've received and the expenditures that you have made. A third area, there's a whole lot of laws which are honestly designed to entrap you and opportunities for you to be caught and be taken out politically. But there's one law here in Georgia, and it may not be a law in other states, but it's a law in Georgia that you have to register and pay a fee to be a lobbyist. Now, what a lobbyist is a fairly complicated thing, and it is explained in the statute in hundreds and hundreds of words with cross-references to other statutes. My point is that it's not obvious what a lobbyist is, and I'll give you an example of this. Some years ago, a talk show host on the radio in the Atlanta area was talking about a piece of legislation and giving his opinion about that legislation. A legislator contacted the radio talk show host, and threatened him with prosecution for being an unregistered lobbyist. Whatever happened to the Second Amendment? I don't know, but it happened. A fourth category of law, and I have only 5 that I'm going to give you in this short video, is sign laws. Now, I've conducted campaigns at various times over decades, and I rarely find a candidate who is concerned about sign laws. Typically, they just do what all the other candidates do. And in Georgia, you will find signs all over the right-of-way in Georgia and in who knows where. And they're put up without permission and all types of things that are wrong. It's really important to find out what the law is with regard to signs and to follow it. Because the good old boys and the good old gals may be forgiven, but you as a libertarian are not likely to be forgiven, and you might be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, and it's probably a misdemeanor where you are. Just as a little example, there are multiple jurisdictions that have different sign laws. For example, in my jurisdiction, there's a city that has a rule that you can't put up the sign more than 45 days before the election. Who knew? Who knew? You must know. And a final example of the laws which was used in Georgia in recent time to disqualify a very qualified candidate in Georgia. As you know, we have to do ballot access in Georgia, and that means you have to go out and get signatures. And when you get those signatures, a notary public has to sign off on a statement by the person who's collecting the signatures. In this case, I'm thinking about the opposing candidate fly-specced the Libertarian candidate's signatures and found a defect in the notary's signature. and therefore disqualified many of the petitions, thus resulting in an enormous effort in ballot access being thrown out and the candidate didn't get on the ballot. So those are 5 areas where there are laws which affect being a candidate. And there are many others. My only point is to emphasize how truly complex the matter is. Now, how can you protect yourself? Well, I have 3 pieces of advice. One of those is to get an old hand on your campaign. Wherever you're running for office, go to that county or that district or whatever zone you're running for office is, and find somebody who's done this before and ask them to be part of your campaign and get advice from them and take it. That's number 1. Number 2 is there are online resources. There are courses and conversations which have been recorded online in Georgia, for example, that you can watch. Very often, the people in the ethics office that are ruling the governance of campaigns are very cooperative. You can call them up and ask you what you need to do, and they will respond. And the third and final suggestion is get a lawyer who can be on your campaign and be willing to volunteer for your campaign. Obviously, you don't want to pay a large hourly rate for these types of things, but there are volunteer lawyers around who are interested in libertarian campaigns and who might be willing to help you. If you can't get a lawyer, read the law yourself, because online resources, of course, will direct you to the particular code section and you can read it. So, follow the law. I recommend that. I insist upon it when I'm involved, and I think you will find that you will have a much better campaign and sleep better at night if you follow the law. Learn the law and follow the law. Thank you very much, and see you next time.